Future Millionaire. It's 12:35 p.m. About an hour and 25 minutes on the East Coast from when Jerome Powell's expected to meet about at the end of the 2-day meeting. We've had this preemptive pump like we talked about yesterday. It's not like we had excruciatingly large gains, but we also have to talk about what I told you was breaking yesterday. How IMF asked El Salvador to drop Bitcoin, more countries clamp down. So these are some big stories going on with Bitcoin. But what I wanted to share first was crude oil is up 3.09%. In our trade last week, a PBR, or the week before, when I told everybody to buy it at $12.52, that was my estimated push up, and we practically fulfilled that move. When I was telling everybody to get in, it's gone up approximately 11.5%, 12% in just about 10 days. And this is a 15.8% dividend paying stock. It's Petroleo. It's out of Brazil. It's like a government-run energy company. There's no doubt it's going to come back down at some point, so don't think it's just going to go off to $5,000 right away. But this was a predicted move that I thought could happen. Now we might consolidate here, retest this cup and handle, come down probably 2-3%. But I think it's a very strong play with crude oil, and I don't see any reason why it can't get to $14.96 in the short term. So I just wanted to update you guys on Petroleo. It's having a fantastic last 10 days roughly since we talked about it. It's up greater than 12% since I told you guys to buy it. And it was something to divert you off of these risks. I told you yesterday I got back into Fortuna at 338. So we'll see how that plays out. I have some call options that I put out today on my Charles Schwab for Equinox. It was down better than 5.6% when it had this huge drop. So I took advantage in the call options. I took some out in March. I also took some out for next year. But I took them out at the $7.50 level for the end of March. And they dropped down from about $40 per option. I got mine for $17. So they were down better than 50%. It says I'm up 63% because they're still valued at $30 per option. Or 30 cents. You guys know how it works. You get 1,000 shares. So it was just a very sneaky play that a lot of people sold out because it had this preemptive dump and nobody can read a chart. So you can see we have a reversal forming. And I'm not saying we're going to the moon, but what I am saying, even if we get rejected, this is likely going to come back up to about $7.55, which puts me right around my $7.50. For next year, I have them out for $10 for, I believe it's January of next year. And then I have some for like September at like the $10 level as well, I believe. And then I took some out for Fortuna Silver Mines for September. I did that yesterday when it dipped to 338. Not a lot. We're talking less than $300 in total options across the board. But these are when you buy them like this and you do them cheap, these are the ones that can go for thousands of dollars when they mature. So that's what I've been doing, but I think this is a very sneaky play here with Equinox. It had a premature dump off, and I believe it's probably going to hold here, especially if gold holds. This has been in a nice uptrend. It did consolidate back down, retest these old support areas, which I'm happy about because these are the old consolidation areas, so it did what it needed to do. Actually, that should be up just a little bit because I don't want you guys to be like, oh, he's giving me bad information. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at across the broader commodities markets. We're doing great in the commodities. Let's see. And then the total crypto market cap started to reverse a little bit. It's down under 1.71 again. We got this critical support line of 1.701. So we'll know if this is a fake out or not in the daily. Very quickly. This looks like a fake out. And I've been talking about this as a bull trap on the way up. I could have bought yesterday. I could have bought AV, as you know. And it was at $148. I decided not to. Yes, I could have made 6, 7, 8%, but I didn't want to be put in this spot where it's an indecisive buy or sell. So, and plus with the way the markets are, I don't want to get caught in a bull trap because I can see it. I know what a bull trap is. None of this volume in the daily has increased the sell volume, which tells you this is a trap. If this was any kind of real rally, we would have more volume coming in than we had in the sell volume. So, Technicals 101, ladies and gentlemen. Crashing volume, rising price is always a disastrous end result. We only got 6 hours left for XLM in the 24 hours in the daily, and look how much volume we've had. Very little volume here, ladies and gentlemen. Not even near the dump volume. So XRP is the same way. Very little volume. With XRP, we haven't even exceeded yesterday's dump volume on the reversal. So right now we got 60.604 support, 65.445 resistance. It's a very tight window. XLM, we have 19.4 and then 22.1 resistance, but I don't know. This looks like a continuation of the downside to me if I've ever seen one after this little finagling. And then for DGB, we got 2124 and 2352 resistance. It's real simple right now. So I want to read this and then I'm going to let you guys go. IMF asked El Salvador to drop Bitcoin. More countries clamp down. And make sure to hit that like button as we approach 6,000 subscribers. You heard that right. More countries are regulating cryptocurrencies, fearing systemic risk from the volatile digital currencies. The International Monetary Fund has urged El Salvador to drop Bitcoin as a legal tender, citing risks to the nation's financial stability and consumer protection, joining a growing chorus of countries clamping down on private digital currencies. The Central American nation became the first in the world to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender in September, alongside the U.S. dollar, with authorities saying it will help save residents remittance commissions and expand financial inclusion. But adoption has been rocky, with only a fraction of businesses taking Bitcoin payments and technical problems plunging the government's cryptocurrency app. There are large risks associated with the use of Bitcoin on financial stability, financial integrity, and consumer protection, as well as the associated fiscal contingent liabilities, the IMF said in a statement on El Salvador on Tuesday. It urged authorities to narrow the scope of the Bitcoin law by removing Bitcoin's legal tender status. Advocates of cryptocurrency, particularly in developing nations, say they are an effective hedge against hyperinflation and uncertainty. But the crypto market is increasingly dominated by big investors, and authorities fear that the highly volatile digital currencies could undermine their control of the financial and monetary systems, increase systemic risk, promote financial crime, and hurt small investors. Here is a look at countries that have recently regulated or plan to regulate cryptocurrencies. Russia. And we've talked about all of these. Russia's central bank last week proposed banning the use and mining of cryptocurrencies on Russian territory, citing threats to financial stability, citizens' well-being, and its monetary policy, sovereignty, as well as high energy consumption. Russia, the world's third largest player in Bitcoin mining, has argued for years against cryptocurrencies, saying they can be used in money laundering or to finance terrorism. It gave them legal status in 2020, but banned their use as a means of payment. Indonesia's Financial Services Authority, QJK, this week said that financial firms are not allowed to offer and facilitate sales of crypto assets in the country where cryptocurrencies cannot legally be used for payment. Last year, the Indonesian Ulama Council, MUI, a top body of clerics, likened trading of cryptocurrencies to gambling and said that using them as a means of payment is unlawful in Islam because they carry elements of uncertainty and harm. The Indian government has said it was looking to bar most private cryptocurrencies in a new bill that would allow only certain cryptos in order to promote the underlying technologies and its uses. The central bank has also voiced serious concerns about cryptocurrencies and is set to launch in digital currency. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said it is important for democratic nations to cooperate on regulating cryptocurrencies as they did not fall into wrong hands and corrupt the youth. Pakistan Central Bank earlier this month recommended banning cryptocurrencies, arguing that allowing them to be traded would cause capital flight. After a careful risk-benefit analysis, it emerged that risks of cryptocurrency far outweigh its benefits for Pakistan, it said in a report. Singapore, the Monetary Authority of Singapore last week banned all advertising of crypto assets, including ads through social media. Influencers companies can only market them on their own websites and social media platforms. While the central bank strongly encourages the development of blockchain technology and innovative applications of crypto tokens, the trading of cryptocurrency is highly risky and not suitable for the general public, the MAS said in a statement. Service providers not portray trading of cryptocurrencies in a manner that trivializes the high risk of trading in them, it said. Spain, and I'm reading through all these, and I picked this particularly because you need to see all the countries that are on board with this and how big of a risk this is right now to own Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a whole. Spain also last week, Spain regulated advertising of crypto assets, including by social media influencers, and requires any advertising to include warning about the risks involved. Australia last month said it will create a licensing framework for cryptocurrency exchanges and consider launching a retail central bank digital currency, so another country that's talking about their own CBDC. The government will begin consultation this year on establishing a licensing framework for digital exchanges, allowing the purchases and sale of crypto assets by consumers in a regulated environment, authorities said. China Regulators in China intensify a crackdown on cryptocurrencies with a blanket ban on all crypto transactions and mining in September after banning financial institutions and payment companies from providing services related to crypto transactions in May, as well as 2013 and 2017. China sees cryptocurrency as a threat to its sovereign digital yuan, which is at an advanced pilot stage. Before the ban, China accounted for more than half of the world's crypto supply, and miners have since moved elsewhere. Turkey's central bank last year banned the use of crypto assets and payments, saying that it entitled significant risk due to volatile market values, irrecoverable transactions, and because they are used in illegal activities. Nigeria's central bank barred local banks from dealing in or facilitating transactions in cryptocurrencies last year, reinforcing restrictions that have been in place since 2017. The ban has pushed the industry underground, with Nigerians trading between themselves using mobile messaging apps and platforms such as Binance and Paxful. This has opened them up to scams and the risk of arrest. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got 10, 11 different countries, 10 that we're talking about right here that are already banning cryptocurrency. So major countries. So just pay attention to what I'm saying and make sure you're listening to the right people on YouTube. Nothing worse than being misled.